Carlos mentioned, he also mentioned dreams, did he not? And when we look at the human mind and the kind of, as I said, tag team on what Carlos said, you know, we're so blessed as human beings to be on this planet and, you know, have what I believe is the ability, and I'm not getting religious here, but I'm saying I believe that God put all the natural resources on the planet, and then, like trees and iron ore in the ground, and he gave us sand on the beaches, and man and woman took the sand and made silicon chips, and you know, allowed us to be able to have computers, did they not? We cut down the trees of the forest and made furniture because we got tired of sitting on rocks. If you think about it, we went down into the deepest part of the world and dug as deep as we could, got iron ore out, and in getting iron ore out, we created spaceships that went to the farthest depths of the universe, as well as going to the deepest depths of the ocean. And you know what? That all came out of a thought, did it not? And so that's the power of the mind. We took the molecules, the atoms, and we reformatted what were the natural resources, and we created something that really didn't exist before that. And that's what your why is. Your why is your ability as a human being to be able to go out and create your lifestyle just as if you were going to create a piece of furniture, a silicon chip, or anything else. Because, you know, if you're going to have wealth, that first is created in the mind. Would you agree? Yeah. Okay, so we've got to start there and understand the power that we have, and this why is so critical. Now, I just wanted to share a couple of things about why I'm in the business, because I think it's important that I just briefly share with you a little bit about myself and why I'm motivated. And keep in mind that your why is what gives you the fuel that you put in the race car that sustains you through the hard times. It gives you that Superman cape that you wear. It allows you to walk through brick doors and brick walls. It allows you to do things that normal people can't do because you're highly motivated and you're excited about what you're doing, because the end result is something that you're in control of being able to capture that dream. You know, I was very blessed, me and my wife, and you know, my youngest daughter is 12 years old. Her name is Brooke Marie Winsett. And when she was born on Christmas Day, the 25th, and we were so blessed as parents. And 2 years into her life, she was diagnosed with autism. And so Brooke is 12. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's the sunshine of our life, and we're so blessed to have her in our family. And she really is a special child, but she cannot speak as of yet. She cannot speak. And you know, for a father who does nothing but talk, that's a tough thing. But I will tell you that you know, 1 out of every 150, CDC says about 1 out of every 1,000 children now are being diagnosed with autism. That's 155 out of every 1,000 in the United States with some form of ASD. And one of the things that I recognized is, you know, I'm 53 years old. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm right at the middle of the football field, so to speak. And my wife is about, I don't know how old she is. But I recognize that, you know, with Brooke being 12, I have an older daughter that's 17, and I didn't want to have a tremendous burden, you know, laid on my oldest daughter with regards to Brooke. And, you know, it may be come a point in a place and a time where I'm not here, you know, to be able to take care of Brooke. And my wife is not here. We have to think about, you know, what is going to be Brooke's future. And so our why is to be able to set up a trust. It's a perpetual trust that allows us to be able to have a place, a home, security, the ability to know that, God forbid, if something was to happen to us, that she's going to be taken care of because she has to have somebody that can take care of those special needs. Now, that's just one of the whys that drives me. But let me tell you, that's very, very important to me, and I want to share a couple of things. I want to build an autistic home community for other kids and other adults as they move through life, that allows them to be able to have the security, kind of pave the way for other parents to do that. I also want to be able to provide, you know, my oldest daughter a college education. Have you ever heard Brian, you know, talk? McClure, he talks about the ability to pay for his son's education and not have to worry about going in debt to get out of school. I mean, it's home. They really don't ever step out. It's warm and fuzzy in there. You know, there's never a parking space. But when you cross across the line of that box, you know, because just like the teacher said, you know, don't color outside the box, don't look out the window, you know, sit down, shut up, don't talk to the girl next to you, don't bite off more than you can chew, don't love when you're not wanted, you can never do it, your brother never did, nobody on the block ever did it, how the hell do you expect to do it, right? I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right? Everybody wants to beat you down where they're comfortable with you. The minute you start walking and talking and looking like you're going to do something significant in your life, they pull out the Babe Ruth bat and they want to beat you back down where they're comfortable with you. Okay? And that's just human nature. But if you have a strong why, which is your dream, your goal, your desire to be able to accomplish something, then you step across the line out of the box of mediocrity, and it's not warm and fuzzy, it's very uncomfortable there. In other words, when I am absolutely positive that when Jerry and Chris founded this company, you know, that they had a wrenching feeling in their gut. Is this really going to work? Okay? Is this dog going to hunt? What have we got ourselves into here? Right? And you didn't experience it, but I know that they did. And they were the ones who stepped out of the box of mediocrity to allow us to go from what was 40 people at one time in this very room to now a full room in capacity, now setting records, and the enormous impact that they have had and all of the corporate staff have had and all of the other leaders have had on the lives already that have been changed through this company and this business opportunity. But they had to take a risk. And they had to have a big why. Because it's only their why that sustains them each and every day of what they want to accomplish. So if you come into this business without a why, you have no GPS. Okay? You have no GPS. If you have GPS in your car now, you know you rely on GPS. Even if it does take you places you don't want to go sometimes. But you're still relying on it. Okay? Because you remember the days when you didn't have GPS. Why would you go through your life not having GPS and knowing where you're going? You need to know who you are, where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what the end result is, because you are the person who writes out and carves out your destiny. You know, nobody else does it for you. Now, if we and you were going to hop in a boat and we were going to sail to Australia, and I knew a little bit about sailing and you knew a little bit about sailing, and we set the coordinates to go to Australia, and we got off a couple of degrees over time, where would we end up? China. Right? We didn't mean to end up in China. We just got off a couple of degrees over time, right?
Yes.
So the goal is that by setting short-term, bite-sized munchkin goals, right? By being able to measure and manage your personal goals. And guess what? A goal can be changed. It's not written in stone. Why? Because you're the master of it. Understand that you are in control. But you've got to write them down. And you've got to commit to them. And in doing so, what it will do, even if you look, you don't want to end up somewhere else. And a lot of times people say, well, Lane, I'm already 65 years old, or I'm 75 years old. I've done this, I've done... Look, some of the greatest accomplishments of man and woman were done in their 80s and 90s. In their 80s and 90s. And the 80s and 90s of today are the 40s and the 50s of the 60s and the 40s.
That's
Do you understand
right.
that?
That's right.
People are living longer. There's going to be a lot of centurions in here, hopefully.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
All right?
Amen.
And so, but you got to have great goals. You know, the reason why, you know, Carlos said it well. He started it out by saying what you focus in on, you know, what you focus in on basically is what, you know, the thoughts that dominate your mind are really what's going to affect, you know, what your attitude is. And your attitude's going to affect your belief system, and your belief system is so critical, you know, in the actions that you take and the motivation that you have in order to accomplish great things. And you will, in your life, accomplish great things. You already have. Okay? So let's talk a little bit about how we now take the why, which is so critical, written specific, timetable, and a deadline for its attainment, and be able to tie into what is some of the most important thing is to figure out, hey, how do I convert this into dollars and cents? In other words, how do I take this and put myself in a financial situation that allows me to have a comfort zone to maybe make a transition from what I'm doing over now full-time as a job over to eventually getting into a career with Ambit Energy. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a career that pays you far more money than any professional career that you could ever get involved in. And I'll make a personal prediction right now. You could look me up in 5 years because I'll be here. That this company will create more multi-million